Hey, what is up, everybody? I am here to give you guys my WWE Championship Read Aloud series, and I'm going to be doing chapter 28. If you want chapters 1 through 27, click on that playlist right up there, and I'm just going to get right into it. This chapter, though, starts on page 227, and it ends on page 235, so I'm just going to get right into it. Every WWE Championship victory is special in its own distinct way. For Eddie Guerrero, he was the culmination of an inspirational battle back from desolation and hopelessness. As the son of Lucha Libre legend Gory Guerrero and younger brother to wrestlers Hector, Mando, and Chavo, Eddie's career path was paved for him well before he even learned to walk. He spent his earliest days observing his father's promotion shows at the El Paso Coliseum in Texas. When he was old enough, he helped set up the ring, pass out flyers, sell concessions, anything that would help his father, as well as keep him out of the competitor's hair. He loved to rub elbows with the big names that passed through town, such as Ernie Ladd and El Santo. Back home, Guerrero honed his craft in the ring his family had set up in their backyard. His older brothers were amazed at how quickly he picked it up. He was a natural. In his 2005 autobiography, Cheating, Death, Stealing Life, Guerrero admitted, "I've always had an aptitude for wrestling. I can't explain it. It's like a gift." Guerrero's gift propelled him to the professional wrestling circuit in June 1987 at the young age of 19. He teamed up with the Mata Medico, I think that's how you say that, to defeat El Vincenco and Falamo Roger in his debut match at the Auto Doro Municipal in Juarez, Mexico. I think that's how you say those words. For the next several years, he bounced around several different Mexican promotions as well as Japan before getting his first big United States opportunity in 1995. Extreme Championship Wrestling's Paul Heyman had seen Guerrero's work and asked if he would be interested in competing at some shows in Philadelphia. Guerrero had always dreamed of working in the States, but he thought his smaller stature and ethnicity would prevent it from ever happening. Heyman didn't care about his size or where he was from, though. Instead, he saw a competitor with a pure wrestling ability second to none. It was exactly what ECW needed, amazing in-ring skills to help offset the hardcore battles for which the promotion was becoming known. The hard-to-impress ECW fans became instantly enamored with Guerrero's impeccable performances. It wasn't long before the Eddie Guerrero names started to gain fame outside of ECW's Philadelphia footprint. Even those in WCW's executive offices in Atlanta were forced to take notice after not only a few months with ECW. WCW booker Kevin Sullivan called Guerrero to offer him a job. At the time, WCW was preparing for the launch of Monday Nitro and was looking for guys who knew how to wrestle, as opposed to the older competitors they had at the top of the card, such as Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. Eddie Guerrero was on top of the world. Not only did working for WCW give him national exposure, but it also meant more money than he had ever earned before. Not surprisingly, he gained great success in the WCW ring, complete with 2 Cruiserweight Championship reigns and 1 run with the United States title. But the politics that went along with being WCW properly caused painful amounts of stress. Guerrero began partying to help numb the pain. With each passing day of his WCW tenure, Guerrero spiraled more and more out of control. All the partying started to take a toll on Guerrero's marriage as well. His wife Vicky begged for him to get his life back in order, but he refused to listen, and the one happy couple be became locked in a constant argument. After a New Year's Eve fight in 1999, an upset and inebriated Guerrero jumped in his transom and made his way down Highway 54 recklessly. He got the car up to 130 miles per hour before passing out behind the wheel. With Guerrero unconscious in the driver's seat, the car jumped off an embankment and began to soaring through the air. By the time it landed, the car was an unrecognizable mess, with many parts still stuck up in the trees. Guerrero was taken to the hospital via helicopter. When Vicky arrived, the doctors told her that her husband probably wouldn't make it through the next 2 nights, and if he miraculously did, he certainly would never wrestle again. They were wrong on both points. Unfortunately, the accident failed to serve as a wake-up call. Guerrero began abusing painkillers to help ease the aches that go along with crashing a car at 130 miles per hour. He eventually overdosed and wound up nearly lifeless in a hospital bed on several occasions. The only shining light was that WCW had finally granted him his release. Guerrero's personal life was in a shambles. He was wise enough, though, to hide his problems from the public, and more important, WWE, who agreed to hire the free agent in 2000. As a WWE superstar, Guerrero had finally gained the global recognition a top-notch competitor deserves. Behind the scenes, however, he was continuing to unravel. Vicky finally grew tired of babysitting her husband and asked for a divorce. Shortly afterward, WWE learned of Guerrero's demons and ordered him to enter a 4-month rehabilitation program. He hated the idea of being away from his children for so long, but he ultimately agreed. Rehab did little to defeat Guerrero's addictions, and it wasn't long before he was back on the bottle. In late 2001, he woke up on a jail cell floor after being arrested for drinking and driving. This latest incident caused him his last shred of normalcy. Normalcy. He had already lost his family and fiancés, and when Vince McMahon learned of the arrest, he lost his job as well. Guerrero had hit rock bottom. Guerrero began wrestling on the independent circuit after being released from WWE, which meant the size of the crowd he competed in front of shrunk from 20,000 to 200. His paycheck experienced a similar decrease. At this point, it would have been easy for Guerrero to sink deeper into despair. Miraculously, however, he found it within himself to fight for what he had lost. It took hitting rock bottom for him to realize a drastic change needed to be made. Not only did he commit himself to sobriety, but he also began trading harder than ever before. It wasn't long before he was in the best shape of his life. After 6 months of humility and sobriety, hold on, I just lost my place, sorry. Guerrero got the call to return to WWE. He capped off his return by defeating Rob Van Dam for the Intercontinental Championship only 3 weeks into his second chance. The victory was a product of living life the right way and giving 100% in the ring, something he admitted to not doing during his first stint with WWE. On February 15, 2004, a revitalized Guerrero put the ultimate exclamation point on his return when he defeated Brock Lesnar at No Way Out to capture the WWE Championship, which you can see a picture of that right here. Prior to that match, his legacy could very easily have been one of the have been one of countless car accidents, overdose arguments, and jail, hospital, and rehab stays. But when he held the WWE Championship high for the very first time, all that negativity washed away. He had forever rewritten his legacy. He, he was Eddie Guerrero, the WWE Champion. Guerrero remembers the match in his autobiography. Though I'd worked my entire life, so this is his words. Though I'd worked my entire life for this moment, nothing could have prepared me for the reality. I was the WWE Champion. I'd reached the top of the wrestling mountain. There was no greater honor in this business. I had beaten Brock Lesnar, a great champion, almost twice my size, in an arena overflowing its capacity with fans, most of whom were Chicanos there to see me. Latino Heat tried to win the biggest championship, the biggest match of my career. It was truly an amazing night, made even more incredible by the fact that just 2.5 years earlier, I wasn't even working for WWE. I'd been let go after my lifetime of drug and alcohol addiction had finally sent me hurtling into the lowest point of my entire life. If someone had told me then that I was going to be the standard bearer for World Wrestling Entertainment, the biggest and best wrestling company on the planet, I would never have believed it. Nobody, not even myself, had ever seen me as a main eventer, as a guy who could be trusted to represent the best a wrestling promotion had to offer. It was Vince, God bless him, who really believed in me, and his faith in me gave me the confidence to go out and give Brock Lesnar the match of my life. And there you can see Eddie Guerrero holding the WWE Championship over his head. Guerrero had little time to relish his WWE Championship victory. Earlier that same night, Kurt Angle had defeated Big Show and John Cena to become the #1 contender for the title. As a result, Guerrero would defend his newly won title at WrestleMania 20 against former 4-time WWE champion and Olympic gold medalist Angle. And the 19 years prior, only the best of the best battled for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Bret Hart, and on this night, the two best in the business were Eddie Guerrero and Angle, with plans of eventually clinching in his signature ankle lock. Angle focused much of his offense on the lower portion of Guerrero's leg. But when the time finally came for Angle to lock in the hold, he unexpectedly pulled the champ's boot from his foot, causing him to tumble backward. This allowed Guerrero to scoop in and roll up the shocked Angle for the win. I was very happy with the match, claimed Guerrero in his autobiography, though I don't think it was as great as people have told me it was. Still, it was pretty thrilling, defending the WWE title at WrestleMania in Madison Square Garden. JBL had been with the WWE for 8 years. He enjoyed moderate success during his run, mostly as a cowboy or beer-swilling brawler, but he was never able to achieve main event status. Then in March 2004, shortly after Eddie Guerrero defeated Kurt Angle at WrestleMania, JBL traded in his cut-off t-shirt for an expensive suit and fancy limousine. The change in appearance was exactly what his career needed. I was basically a Vince McMahon who wrestled, says JBL. I think Vince saw it was a way for a rich guy who had an identical persona to him to be able to get in the ring and do the things that he couldn't do because of both time and being on the road. His commitment to WWE and the fact that he was older prevented him from doing it. He used to laugh about it all the time. I can't speak for Vince, but I think a lot of it was Vince living vicariously through me. That totally sounds like JBL just being your cocky ass, but okay. With the new persona also came an annoying level of arrogance for JBL, claiming his mountains of money and American citizenship had made him better than most. He began to take shots at anybody with a pulse, most notably border-crossing Mexicans. JBL's verbal taunts eventually led to a thrilling series of WWE Championship matches. Eddie Guerrero was able to get past the first with his reign intact, but the Texas Bowl match, the Great American Bash, proved to be considerably more difficult. After more than 20 minutes of using the bull rope and its rusty cowbell as a weapon, a mangled JBL managed to eke out the win to capture the WWE Championship. The loss marked the end of the greatest 4 months of Eddie Guerrero's career. Tragically, the world lost Guerrero the following year when he passed away at the age of 38 from congenital heart disease. Though gone, he will never be forgotten, especially by his peers, who would always remember him as a true champion. Stephanie McMahon on the Raw Tribute Show. I talked to Eddie on Friday, and we had a quick conversation, and in that conversation, Eddie had told me that he was going to be WWE Champion again, or he was going to be the World Champion again, and he wanted me to know that. He wanted Vince to know that he was going to be champion again. But when I think of Eddie, the most important thing that I think about is his family, because he loved his family more than anything else in the world, from his brothers to his mother, but especially his wife, Vicky. He loved you so much, Vicky. And Shaw and Sherilyn, he lit up when he talked about you. He just lit up. You were his whole life, his whole world, and I just hope that you guys know that, and I am so sorry. Eddie Guerrero was a son, he was a husband, he was a father, and he was a friend. And now Eddie will always be a champion. I'll miss you, Eddie. Everybody will miss you. We love you. And then that's the end of the chapter. Yeah, it's still sad to think that Eddie's gone, and here's a picture of Eddie Guerrero right there. And that's just definitely, I think, the best chapter in this story. It just tells a great story about Eddie Guerrero, and it's definitely, no one could ever think that somebody like Eddie Guerrero would ever be WWE champion, and he was right. I mean, it pretty much says it all in this book, on that chapter. And it's just really sad to think that Eddie's still gone, because I definitely think he's definitely missed in the wrestling business. So yeah, but that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure to subscribe to my CM Brothers and Owen the Talkinator YouTube channels, and make sure to subscribe to this channel for more content. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.